Hey T Squad, it's your girl Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 14 review. This week we're going to start off with Jasmine and Eris, and they start off the episode speaking to the sex therapist. And Jasmine says, that Eris friend zoned her on the honeymoon, and she doesn't even remember the last time they hugged one another. And she admits to becoming guarded. She says that in the beginning she did have her guard down, but as things progressed, her guard started to come up. And I mean, that's really understandable in her position because he's not attracted to her. He's really, from her perspective, he hasn't really put forth an effort to really, invest in their marriage, in her and their bedroom activity. So like, what is she supposed to do? She's not gonna beg him, you know what I'm saying? So I don't blame her that her guard is up right now at this point. So the therapist says, I feel like you're trying to keep the peace and being agreeable, instead of like just saying how you feel. And Eris agrees with that and says that she didn't open up during their last exercise. And Jasmine says, he gets sarcastic and makes me feel like he don't want to be there. And the therapist was like, well, how do you feel when she calls you out on your stuff? And Eris was like, I love it. I love it. And Jasmine like, what? Like, she is like totally flabbergasted that's one of the things that he gets off on. The fact that, she'll like get in his butt and tell him about himself. And she kind of like started smiling and grinning, and she was like, okay, well, that's something that I can work on. And I really think that this gave her like some type of false sense of hope that if she, is more vocal, that will spark something for him. Now that he says that he likes that, it makes me go back to in the beginning when I kept on saying to you guys that he was acting like he was attracted to her all the way up until they got to the honeymoon. And when they had that one dinner at the honeymoon, and that's when she kind of like revealed how conservative she was sexually. That's when he like shut down. And I think maybe it's a thing where, once again, he liked nasty girls. That's what he used to. He liked that popping necks, popping your tongue type of action. And she's not that. She's very reserved, very classy, spiritual, and all of that type of stuff. And I think that he don't know what to do with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's not her fault, at all. But once again, I feel like he's missing the opportunity to teach her some things. But, that's neither here nor there. I said it from the beginning, and I still say it now. I feel like Jasmine and Shaquille would have made a perfect match. Really honestly do. If their marriages don't work out, I think that they should get together in real life, because I feel like they might have something on the horizon. So then we see them on another day. They cooking together, and she's back being bubbly and, really being in the conversation. But things quickly go south when she confronts him on clapping for her at their wedding, because she almost had a panic attack. Like, she was so nervous and was, breathing erratically and stuff. And she found out that the only reason why he was like being supportive and there for her is because Dr. whatever his name is told him to be. And he was like, what was I supposed to do? I ain't want you to pass out. And so as soon as he said that, like, she completely went right back into her shell and shut down once again. And I just feel like they just are not compatible, and maybe he'll realize that he has something good later on, but I don't think that he's emotionally mature enough for a woman like her. He still want them ratchet type girls that's wearing freakum dresses and going to the club every Saturday and patting her weave and chewing her gum. It seemed like that's what he want. unless he over there sleeping with the cousin child. I don't even know what to say when it comes to Eris at this point. I just want for Jasmine to be done and peace out, because he's not only wasting her time but our time as well. And I'm tired of looking at him. I'm tired of looking at that scraggly beard of his and his little beady eyes. I'm sick of it. I really am sick of it. Cole and Chris are up next. I somehow forgot to take a picture of them this week. My bad. She feels there isn't enough foreplay for them when they sit down and speak to the sex therapist. Now, I don't know if she meant on his end or her end. They didn't really make that clear. I'm gonna guess that she was talking about he doesn't give her enough foreplay. They get a sex box filled with a bunch of different toys and things to pleasure, each other. And she just throwing stuff out left and right. Nope, don't want to do that. Can't use that. That's going to itch. That's going to give a rash. It's like, girl, what? And she was saying like, she's still trying to work on herself mentally as far as how she sees herself physically. And she enjoys their sex life right now and could continue with the same sex life right now for the foreseeable future if need be. And he's just like, he wants to please her and doesn't need the toys and everything. And it's like, yeah, I get that you want to please her, but I know you want to also be pleased as well. I don't even want to even imagine them two doing it, because it just seemed like it is just a mess, and like it's boring, and it's probably like missionary, and he probably get on top and kiss her in the mouth like a few times, and then it's just like hump, 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 yeah, or yeah, or yeah, and it's done. Like, I just imagine sex between them being absolutely horrific, and like watching paint dry, or a turtle cross a road, or a slug making its way through the grass. Like, no, absolutely not. Clint and Gina are still in the friend zone, child. Like, if they just don't call it quits and just stop wasting everybody's time so their film crew can go home and be with their family, child, they sit down and talk to the sex therapist about not being sexually attracted to one another, but they are sexually attracted to other people. It's like, what are we doing here? She doesn't want to talk about sex because she doesn't see him like that. So she says that it makes her feel uncomfortable to talk to him about that. Like, she is just completely turned off about having those conversations. And you would think the fact that she's not attracted to him, that it would be easier, but she just refuses to let him in, period. I feel, into who she is and what she's about and all of that. Like, she has been shut down since they got married. She has been shut down. Like, he is just not her type, and I don't really feel like she is fully giving it her all to make this thing work. I think that she stayed on the show because they asked her to, and she was like, okay, let me go ahead and finish this or whatever. But she's not in it. And you can tell, like, you can just honestly tell, like, she's not in it, and she's just counting down the days until the last day. She even goes as far as to say she don't even know if their marriage will last. And he just sitting there, because you can tell that he's attracted to her and that he does like her, and that if she gave him the go ahead, he'll be all for it. But I think he, mirrors her because he don't want to look stupid and seem like Jasmine. Like, I'm just waiting on her to want me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why he continues to say, yeah, I agree. But I can tell by his facial expressions and how his face light up when certain conversations are had that he likes that woman. She then says that she likes a man with swag, and Clinton doesn't have swag, and he doesn't. Let's just keep it honest. He made a joke out of it or whatever. He's a very funny guy, doesn't really seem to take himself too seriously, but he doesn't have swag. He needs another haircut. He really honestly does, and he needs to do something with his facial hair and a new outfit. Yeah, he does need a new look or whatever. And she even suggests him cutting his hair. So maybe he will allow her to cut his hair. I doubt it though, but he seems like a good guy. I don't see anything bad about Clint. I think he'll make a great guy for a different girl, and maybe that different girl is McKinley, because we saw in the trailer that they're gonna kiss at one of the group events. So it seems like maybe they could be a perfect match for each other, because she likes the outdoors and all of that stuff. He's an outdoorsman. Maybe they could work. Maybe they would be perfect for each other. I don't know, child. They're given a sensory basket to use on each other. And she's just closed off, like I said, once again, to the thought of even being remotely intimate with that man. So it's just like, why are we doing this? Why are we here? Please send these people home, because they don't want to be with each other. And once again, this week, I found myself falling asleep. I got so sleepy watching this. Like, it has been so boring. Like, half of these episodes could have been cut. Like, because we keep on talking about the same stuff every week. Like, this season is quite non-entertaining. Kirsten and Shaquille are up next, and we see her FaceTime him while he's gone away on business. He had to go do a work thing at the school that he works for, whatever. And she talking to him all sweet and stuff. And I'm noticing that he got an attitude, act like he did not want to talk to her. Like, he could not be bothered, and like she was annoying him. And I was like, what's going on with this? But later on, we find out why he was treating her that way and why he had an attitude. Because, baby, I felt that heat all the way through my television screen, that man did not want to be bothered with her. And so they get off the FaceTime, but as they're getting off, I guess she tried to blow him a kiss. So she called him back and was like, Shaquille, you hung up before I could blow you a kiss. And he was like, I didn't know you were trying to do that. So she was like, okay, well, bye, and blow him a kiss or whatever. He was like, all right, bye. Like, I don't know with Kristen. It seems like she puts on airs. I feel like she likes him, but then again, I feel like she's putting on airs for the show. You know what I'm saying? Because when pushed and she answers certain questions, I feel like that's when you get the real Kristen and what she actually wants and needs. And I feel like a part of her is putting on like she really is into him because he has a good career. He's a nice looking man. I think that she sees where he's going in life and she wants to attach herself onto that. Because let's be honest, when she got to saying that she want him to buy her a house and all of this type of stuff, she wasn't playing. That's what she wants. That's exactly what she wants. Because let's keep it a buck. That shoebox she was over there living in with that sparse furniture, she ain't a minimalist. She can't afford that because she ain't selling no houses. And she see that Shaquille is a man that will have the finer things in life if he already does not, honey. He has really good taste. And she can see herself and him together. They would make a handsome couple. But she ain't got it like that, Bernie, honey. And she trying to hitch herself onto that wagon, honey. But it ain't because she's actually like into him. She's into the materialistic side of him. They sit down and talk to the sex therapist, and Kirsten feels things are going great between them because he's spending more time with her. You know, that's one of the things she had been requesting. And then when he's asked the question, he feels like it's been rocky because he says that they've, had to learn each other. He was like, but they have had more good times than bad. So the sex therapist was like, well, have you all talked about what attracts you to one another? And Kirsten was like, no, but I loved when he was moving boxes and stuff. And she was like, why? And she was like, because he was using his muscles and it was just all masculine and stuff. And he just a skinning and grinning because it made him feel good. Like, okay, she does look at me in that type of way. Like, all right. And then the sex therapist was like, well, do you think he's masculine? And Kirsten was like, yeah. And the lady was like, it took you a long time to answer. She was like, I mean, because my dad was very masculine and tough. And I'm so sick of her talking about her daddy. Like, do you want to marry your daddy? Like, marry him. Please do. Please marry this ghost of a daddy that we still have not seen. Please go and be with him. Because it's kind of getting a little weird at this point. You keep on talking about your daddy, your daddy, your daddy. Like, girl, what is going on here? And the therapist points out how she used these keywords like masculine and tough and all of these things. So then it really came full circle for me that, yeah, she like a ain't nigga. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it she like a nigga. Okay, she like a man that's gonna treat her bad, talk to her crazy, and not want to do nothing for her. Like, she can run Shaquille to a certain extent. She want a man that's gonna tell her to shut up and get off his phone. That's what she like, and that's what she used to. And that's why she doesn't think that a man like Shaquille is quote unquote masculine, because he not talking to her crazy, ignoring her and treating her bad, because that's what she's used to, child. And like I said, she used to men that ain't gonna be there for her, treat her bad, girl. And like I said, she trying to hitch herself to Shaquille's wagon because Shaquille is a good man that's gonna have benefits and a pension, child. So even Shaquille was like, I think she wants to mimic her dad. And in his confessional, he was like, I feel like since day one, I've had to prove myself. And once again, that goes back to her being in control of the situation and can run him, like I said, to a certain extent until she pushes him to the limit where he got to go off on her. And you see, when he do go off on her, her face just be like, ooh, like she liked it. That her and Eris would be perfect for each other because they both weirdos. They're weirdos. She gets turned on when he go off on her and argues with her. As we saw, Eris likes when somebody argues with him. That's what they get off on, that toxic crap, because they're both not mature enough to see a healthy relationship when they're in one. So the therapist then tags them to blindfold one another and trust each other in the process, and he ties her up, and she likes that. Once again, she wants somebody to be in control of her, and she's one of those people that if she can control you, she don't respect you. So she's turned on by all that and says that she can allow him to lead, and he admits he wants he wanted her to join him on the work trip, and apparently she was supposed to go with him and promised to go with him on his next work trip. And then when it was time to go, right before it was time for him to leave, she changed her mind and said she had this, that, and the third to do back where they, were staying. So that's why he had an attitude with her while he was gone, because she let him down and changed her mind at the end, at the last minute. And I was like, yeah, that girl changed her mind so she could kick it with her friends and probably her boo thing on the side that she really in a relationship with. So that's why he was mad at her. And she was like, well, it makes me feel terrible because I want to be there to support you. Well, if you wanted to be there to support him, why you ain't go? Girl, get out of here. Like I said, she's a user. She's only with him because of what he got going on. And so the producers asked Shaquille in his confessional, are you happy in this marriage? And he was like, happy is a stretch. Child, going to divorce that lady and be with Jasmine. And at the end of the episode, ladies all meet up to talk about what's going on in their marriages, and Jasmine breaks down and said that she's at her breaking point, like she just doesn't have very much else to give. And I applaud her for even lasting this long, child, because at least she tried, unlike McKinley or whatever that girl name is, Dominique. Yeah, her name was Dominique, that girl, the funny looking one. At least she tried, child. But yeah, she need to chuck Eris up the deuce and go on about her business, child. Other than that, this episode for me, I'm gonna give it a D. It was like I said, a snooze fest. A lot of this could have been cut out. A lot of these episodes could have been cut and sliced and edited way better to make it more dramatic and entertaining, because oh my God, this be like the longest hour and a half of my life every Wednesday. They're going to have to do something, or I might not continue to review this season, because it is a snooze fest for me. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.